listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome to Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about finding strength. We've all been there, right? It could be a really long week, or maybe it's a traumatic, incident in your life, and you just need that strength. It might have to come from others or deep within yourself. Today we're going to be talking about that topic and giving you the strength that you need to live full out. Also, you want to make sure to stay with us because in our next segment, we're going to be joined by Dr. Andrea Harris, who's going to talk about the strength that she needed to have after surviving a 5-car pileup and having a traumatic brain injury, but yet she's able to share her story today. And most of all, I want to make sure that you can listen to today's show whenever convenient for you. Make sure to go to livingfullout.com if you'd like to hear our 24-hour radio station. You can hear us anytime, or go on the mobile apps or even Alexa, and you can hear our show live. Just look out for Living Full Out Radio. Also, if you need support on today's topic, feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We understand sometimes the need to find strength. It's like, where do you even begin? It might seem like, great, I can lean on other people, but, how much can I lean on them? Because I don't want to be a burden. I want you to cast those fears away today, and let's really isolate and figure out what is the problem, what do you need, so that you can get back on track. Now, I'm getting word for a producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am great. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
Okay, well, my long-term partner and I, we've been together around 6.5 years. We're talking about the future and considering starting a family, but there's been a lot of recent news about climate change and all these predictions of climate refugees and stuff, and the dates are just creeping forward, and it makes us kind of second guess ourselves, and we don't really know what the right decision is. If we have a child, it's going to put more burden on the environment, and there's just so many things to consider, and we're really struggling with that.
You know what? 100% I'm with you. And I can actually hear it in your voice. I mean, I'm sure you've had many, many conversations about this, right?
Yes. Yes, it comes up a lot.
But the thing is, the thing is you're always going to turn on the news and it's going to be bad news, right? You're always going to read the paper and there's going to be these looming deadlines, the what ifs. But you want to live full out by living in the present. If you have found a partner that you love, they love you, and to further that love, you want to build a family, you want to have maybe a further commitment, whatever that looks like, go for it. Because the thing is all of that, those deadlines, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, they haven't happened yet. And I've been in this, the news industry and entertainment for some time now, and I keep seeing certain topics. They're almost timeless. They never go away. There's always it's going to happen next year, and then it never happens. Yeah. Oh, wait, 5 years from now, and it never happens. So you can't live in fear. And we've experienced it before,
right? I mean, the 2012 prediction, and
So here's what you want to do. You want to just say, you know what, I'm not going to let that cloud my mind, my judgment. I'm going to get excited about the future. And one of the things you might consider doing is a vision board. Have a vision of the house you'd like to have one day, the family you'd like to have, the career you're striving for, whatever that may be, the instrument you'd like to learn, one day, whatever that is, right? And just really get excited about the future. And anytime something creeps in your mind about that woulda, coulda, shouldas, the what ifs, just say, you know what? You have no business being in my mind. You don't serve me. You're not helping me. This is not allowing me to live full out. Because you have to live for today. There's no promise of tomorrow. Okay? That's the scary thing is there's no promise of it. So I think you have such a great life ahead of you. Just go for it. Okay?
Well, Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling up.
Very reassuring.
Well, you're very welcome, and I believe in you. If you need us, just call us back. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You got it. So I love that she's calling in today. She needs strength to know, is this the right decision? Are these things that are looming really going to happen? And I really appreciate that she's thinking into the future, but I hope that she starts living for today. Now, we have another caller that's reaching out to us. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. I just have a question because
Yes.
I've been having trouble balancing my time. And I just been wondering, how can I manage my time as a full-time student with work and get time for myself?
You know what? I'm raising my hand, and like everybody listening should be raising their hand, because balance is like the number one, problem that we all face, right? We say yes to a lot of things. We want to do things, the fear of missing out, and social media doesn't help, right? It's in our face. Couple things I want to tell you.
Distraction.
Exactly. Couple things. I want you to feel free to go to livingfullout.com, okay? Because number one, we have a gift for you on there, and for everybody listening, you can all get this. It's called the 80 Tips to Finding Balance in Your Life and Living Full Out. You can literally sign up for it. It's free. Any one of those 80 points could help you on a day that's difficult, okay? So number one, go and grab that. So just go to livingfullout.com to get the balance list. Number two is I want you to think about having a schedule, but giving yourself a little bit more time. See, where feeling out of balance comes into play is when we feel like we're on that hamster wheel. We're running, right? And sometimes you have to take your power back, right? And to take your power back means that, if a friend says, hey, let's go out for dinner on Friday night, but you know what? You're having a really long week. You might have to do a little self-care and say, I would love to, but you know what? Let's go for 2 weeks from now. You know what I mean? Just push it off a little bit. If someone says, hey, can you help me move? Yeah, I would love to do that.
It's just self-discipline.
It is, and I know that's not what you want to hear. I know. I wish I could. If I had a magic wand, girl, I would give it to you right now. I would say it's yours, right? It's just like the people who want to lose weight, too, right? We all know it's working out, it's eating right, it's the same recipe. So for you, it is self-discipline. It is. Now, who can you turn to? Let's call them an accountability partner. Is there somebody that you can turn to who can keep you accountable to this new discipline? Who could that be?
Probably my boyfriend.
Okay. So I would start there. And I would say, listen, this is my new plan. I'm going to test this out for 1 week. Now, if you see me slipping, if you see me taking on too much, if you hear me saying yes to things when you know I have other things on my plate, you have full permission to flick my right shoulder. Okay, you have full permission to do something, right? I don't want to say slappy or anything because we don't want to go there, but a flick, maybe a little pat on the wrist, just something to remind you, hey, accountability, kicking that discipline. Because if somebody's not there to catch us when we're falling, to remind us when we need to pull back, then we go back into those negative behaviors, those habits. Do you see that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
okay.
And it's whatever it takes.
Exactly. So you got 3 things. Go grab that balance list at livingfullout.com. Number 2, come up with a 1-week schedule that is disciplined, that gives you the space for some downtime and really has everything kind of spread out that's manageable. And number 3, I want you to turn to your boyfriend and tell him what your plan is and come up with some sign that he can do when you're off track and that will remind you to get you back on track. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much for the advice. It's amazing, and hopefully it works out.
Well, you're really very welcome. And one more tip for you. When you say hopefully it works out, I want you to take the word hopefully out of there. Okay? So it will work out, right?
You're right.
Okay, you got to say that. You got to own it. Will it work out?
It will work out.
It will work out. Exactly. Thank you so much for calling in. Okay? Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And for everybody listening, it is about finding strength, and that's why we encourage you to call into the show. If there's something that you're, stressed about or dealing with, we're here for you. Stay with us. In our next segment, we have Andrea Harris talking about her traumatic brain injury and how she found strength to get through those hard times and survive. And most of all, make sure that you go to livingfullout.com if you want to hear this episode again. Absolutely, we want to keep you supported, educated, you name it. So, we'll be coming right back after this break, talking more about finding strength as we live full out. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. We'll be back.
Hi, professional skateboarder Tony Hawk here with Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have the energy to skate through anything.
Nice play on words, Doc.
That's how I roll, Bugs. So whether you like to work the half pipe,
now that's catching air,
kick the soccer ball around, or dance in your room,
just move it your way.
For an hour a day.
The way you like to move, as long as you're moving.
Carve out some time every day and get active. Because it's time to do a 180 on what you think exercise is.
Because it can be whatever you want it to be. So be a player.
Be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
At www.letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. Every day I wake up at 5 to give Dad his medicine. At 6 I make his breakfast. At 7 I shower. Every day I wake up
For
at
those
5.
caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Sarah, and this is my story.
I'm Ellen, and this is my story.
One night, I was at a bar. I was having fun with my friends.
I
had one too many drinks.
I
got behind the wheel to go home.
I got a cab to go home.
All of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
And all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, a squirrel ran across the road.
It happened so quickly, I barely had time to react.
It happened so quickly, the cabbie barely had time to react.
I swerved.
The cab swerved.
I can't believe it. I hit a guy.
I cannot believe it. The cabbie just missed a guy.
I wish I took a cab.
Thank goodness I took a cab.
You have the choice to save a life. Don't drive buzzed. It's a decision you'll never regret. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you think depression is all in a person's head, you're right. It's a brain illness. And like other illnesses, it has symptoms. Depression can make those who suffer from it feel hopeless. It can even lead to suicide. Learn how to stop depression from taking another life. Call SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, 1-888-511-SAVE, on the web at save.org.
I'm Alec Baldwin. Like any parent, I'm concerned about children's health. Many kids don't eat as they should and are at risk for long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But here's good news. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and other low-fat vegetarian foods can protect our kids and keep the rest of the family healthy too. For a free booklet, call the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine at 1-877-685-KIDS or visit www.kidsgethealthy.org.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about finding strength. And how do you do that? I mean, sometimes it's easier said than done, right? But it's really figuring out what do you need. And our guest today, our inspirational guest, Dr. Andrea Harris, had to go through that same process when she suffered a traumatic brain injury due to a 5-car collision. And so she's going to share with us today how, as she had symptoms starting to stack up due to that brain injury, she had to learn to ask for help. But sometimes, again, it's hard to figure out what do you need. So we're going to be joining her today. Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I am wonderful. So nice to have you. And I felt your story was so important because we try to educate on the show and we try to bring realistic, everyday scenarios that could happen. And honestly, the day of your accident was like any other. And a collision like this could happen to any of us. I hope not. I'm crossing fingers. I'm crossing my toes and my hair that nobody listening today gets into an accident. But we want to kind of learn from you today, kind of the process that you had to go through. Can you first of all share with us about the day of the accident, what happened?
Sure. It was July 8th, 2016. And I was returning back to Dallas area from Houston after a doctor's appointment. And so the traffic was kind of stop and go, and we were at a complete stop when I was hit from behind. And, of course, I didn't see it because I'm sitting still and not really looking behind to kind of see what's going on. And so it was definitely a shock, surprise, feeling of overwhelming and frustration, mad, angry. Many emotions were going on at that moment after the initial hit. And my head hit the dashboard area about 3 to 4 times. And at that moment, I'm just thinking, okay, this is just a little whiplash. My body's in shock. Thank God that there was an officer that witnessed the accident because I was the first one that was hit. And then it was a chain reaction totaling 5 vehicles. And so the police officer merged us off to the side of the road, and he placed the bumper inside of the car because it ripped the bumper off.
And you know what I think is so interesting? I mean, first of all, you took the brunt, right? You were the first one to get hit. But, thankfully, you had your seatbelt on. So hooray for seatbelts, okay? Because obviously it could have been much, much worse in that scenario. But what I think is so interesting is you had been in accidents over your life before. And the bumper got on and you drove off. But how did you feel that day? Did you start to feel just achy and headaches or what, did it just feel like, you know what, I'm just going to sleep it off. I'm going to it's just going to go away.
It was more of like sleep off. Like I said, I was on my way back, about a 3.5-hour trip back to where I live. And so I drove back. The car was drivable. I didn't have to be placed in an ambulance. And so I said, okay, it was a Friday afternoon. I'll go home, get some rest, and go see my primary care physician Saturday morning just to get the routine checkout because I didn't have any headaches at that time. Just the initial shock of it is like, oh my God, I've been in an accident.
So when you were at the doctor's, what did they say?
Well, that Saturday morning, I did start feeling a little head pains, and so she did some X-rays. I felt some pains in my body. So did the routine checkup and say, hey, just take a rest a few days. And she scheduled me for an MRI for the following week, which will be the following Friday. And so, okay, she took me off work that Monday, and I went back to work that Tuesday.
Wow. You are a go-getter. You're like, a brain injury, but you didn't know about it yet, right?
So, right. Yeah. At that time, I didn't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when something happens to us, we hit our head, we fall, we twist our ankle, we're like, you know what, it's going to go away. Sometimes it doesn't go away. So,
right.
How did the symptoms start to escalate where you were starting to get genuinely concerned?
Well, I think it was about 10 days later from the accident where I received the results from the MRI and everything, and I was informed that I had received a concussion. At that time, they said it was a concussion, and she explained some things I need to cease doing with a lot of reading, a lot of phone usage as far as texting, or screen time, and to be off work and to not drive. And I'm like, okay. I'm still thinking like, oh, okay, a concussion, I've heard about it, but let me look into this. And even at that time, like I said, it was just very minimal. But over the course of the next few weeks after that, I began to feel very nauseous, no appetite, just wanted to just lay down. I had a consistent headache all day, every day. Like it was nonstop to where I did not want to go to time. And so I was waiting to get in to see a neurologist, and that became frustrating because it's like, I don't know what to take, what not to take, so I'm not going to take anything because I don't know really what's going on. I need to see a neurologist. And so it was over a month before I was able to see a neurologist, and experiencing all of this every day, not knowing what's going on, and just trying to really live.
And you know what? I just want to touch on this real quick before we go to our break. How did you manage that stress? Because, you weren't going to get the answers till you saw the neurologist, and so many people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They don't have answers. So what kept you less stressed during that time?
Definitely my relationship with God. That's the first thing. I consistently prayed and talked to God for relief and just His comfort through this. And also, I did a lot of meditation. I did yoga. I used my air diffuser. I started practicing a lot of mindfulness at that time, and really just journaling and doing things that will keep my mind off of really what was going on, and really kind of just improve my overall being.
Oh, you know what? I love that. And I'm going to come back to this because I think all of that is really routine habits we should do every day anyway. So I'm glad you share that with us. Stay with us, Andre. We're going to go to a commercial break. And for everybody listening today, it's all about finding strength during these really hard times. And so as you listen to her story, let's also look at your life today. What are you going through? Where do you need support? What resources would make your life easier and give you the strength to get through the hardship? So stay with us. We'll be coming right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show, and we're all about finding strength today, and we'll do that together. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about finding strength during times that just seem hopeless. And our inspirational guest today, Dr. Andrea Harris, is no stranger to those feelings because after being told she had a traumatic brain injury due to a 5-car collision, honestly, she had to really ask for a lot of help and make sure that she was able to get stronger. And some of that strength had to come from within and some from other people that just wanted to get her back on track and find her way to feeling her again. So I'd like to welcome Andrea back to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Glad to be back.
Thank you. So, share with us about the day that they were actually told you that you had this traumatic brain injury, because concussions actually, they're fairly frequent. I mean, people get those all the time, and whether it's a sport or a fall or something like that. But to be told that you have a traumatic brain injury, I mean, that's severe.
Right. So after I called the neurologist, he referred me out to a psychologist to have some cognitive testing done. And after the testing, the results came back, traumatic brain injury. And I was like, okay, wow. And so from there, we talked about the treatment plan and some things that I could be doing at home to help improve my well-being. And so at this moment, I was experiencing memory challenges, speech challenges, a response time with people asking me questions and processing the answer through my thoughts and to get them out. That response time was very delayed. Also, of course, still when it wasn't able to drive or work, I had emotional challenges like, of course, just from the accident, going through a traumatic experience from the accident alone, there's some emotional challenges, some things you have to recover from. But in addition to that, I had damage to my brain. And so my emotional challenges were like a roller coaster all throughout within an hour. And they would change that frequently.
And I want to ask you about that because I imagine, the bills keep coming in, but you're not working. Then there's the concern of, will I ever feel, quote, quote, normal again or get back to feeling good again? But also, did you have any anger or frustration around the driver that hit you?
The first few moments, I was angry about the situation, not more towards the driver, just, oh, my God, I've been hit. I can't believe this. I didn't sign up for this. But along those days, I began to really take time to understand the journey I was on and really to grab hold to it and grab everything that I needed out of that because I did not want to experience that again. So I'm like, I want to know what I need to learn from this. How do I grow from this? Because I don't want to travel this way again. And so that was my whole view. My perspective about it changed very quickly. Now, there were moments, and even now, sometimes I think back on it, and it's like, oh, my God, that happened to me. And, like, I'm a little, like, I wish it hadn't happened to me, but then all in that same breath, I'm like, I'm glad it happened to me because it gave me a different perspective on life, on myself, on my purpose, and be able to grow from this journey so that I can help someone else be resilient through their life challenges.
I love that. And really, that is the whole method to the madness of what we're trying to achieve in life, right? We go through all of these scenarios, and it's just trying to figure out, how do we become the best version of ourselves we can be? Now, I'm curious, so you have this traumatic brain injury. How does one heal from that? What is that process?
Oh, my process, like I mentioned before, definitely started with my relationship with God. I ultimately know that if I didn't have a relationship with God, I would not be where I am today on the other side of the traumatic brain injury, totally whole and restored. And so just a consistent prayer life with Him, really just studying the scriptures. Like I said, I did a lot of mindfulness exercises. I journaled my experiences. I did a lot of reflection on me and who I am and really just seeing what it is that I have been created to do. And so it was more of like a self-discovery journey with this. And like you mentioned earlier about how our strength sometimes come from within, and I believe that's where it came from within. I had to reach deep down within myself and really make myself whole from that experience. And, of course, the therapy that I had to do with cognitive therapy and a lot of different things they suggested me to do as far as a lot of games and things that would help restore my cognitive ability. A lot of writing I had to do to really make sure I was using words that I had been using before, and a lot of talking, because there was points in time, there was only about a handful of people that I talked to for over a year because I didn't want them to see the challenges I was having with speaking. And so being able to, I did a lot of affirmations where I would affirm myself and so that I could return to speaking to people, because prior to this, I'm a coach, speaker, author, all of this, and I wanted to continue to do this. So I challenged myself. I pushed myself beyond some things that what the doctor said I was limited in doing.
So over time, I guess all of that self-work you were doing, but over time, did the headaches disappear? The speech came back? The ability to be more focused came back? And was that just kind of a combination between the therapies with the medical team plus your own work?
Yes, it was a combination of the two. There was some prescription, some prescribed medicine that the neurologist gave me, and at first I was real hesitant in taking some of them, but I prayed about it, and I took it, and I didn't have to stay on it. In just maybe a few weeks, and the headaches began to subside. And that's one thing, at first the neurologist said, okay, your healing time is indefinite. You know, there's no healing time to really say, okay, the normal time is 2 weeks or this and that. You know, each person is different. So they use the term of indefinite. And so we would just keep monitoring. And every time if the headaches came back, I went back in and say, hey, they're back. Okay, what else is it that I need to do? And so, yes, it was a combination of self-work and the resources that the neurologist gave me.
Truly a team effort. And I'm just curious because we've had people on the show that have had accidents, that have had, all sorts of things happen to them, an attack, you name it. But what was it like getting back in your car again and driving after this accident? Were you fearful of that? Was there anxiety there?
I'm laughing because I just talked to someone about this last week that I would say within maybe a few weeks after the accident, my first things, I didn't recall the neurologist saying, don't drive at all. I thought he said, limit your driving. So me being who I am, I was like, I'm just going to drive right here to the store and the post office. And my friends and my mom was like, no, the doctor said don't drive. So I go ahead and do it. And I called them later and said, you know what? I'm not ready for this. I was so gripped by anxiety that it was not funny. And so that was one point where I say, hey, Andrea, you really have to step back from this. You can't really be that person, that go-getter you were before this. Right now, it's your time to heal from this. And so even now, sometimes, I'm very conscious and aware of my surroundings even more and what's going on, very attentive when I'm driving to say, hey, okay, if there's anything that looks like about to take place, I'm moving out of the way. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And lastly, as we kind of close out today, I mean, I know that it took going through this accident, doing all that self-work, and what does living full out mean to you?
Living full out means that I am living in who God created me to be. My purpose, my mission in life, I'm living abundantly. I'm not just existing. I'm living freely in who I am, and I love that totally.
And you know what? I feel that energy. I feel it. Well, thank you so much for being on today's show because you really are a light. And you just kind of remind all of us to just, go out there, drive, be alert. But when things happen, you kind of have to go through it. And I think that self-worth, that, self-care, all the things that you did really brought you to that place of feeling whole again. And then all the purpose came with it. But it's amazing how an accident can actually open more doors than close them.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being on the show today, and we'll be thinking great things for you. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
Thank you. Absolutely. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
And for everybody listening today, I mean, we had Andrea on, and boy, hearing her story just makes me aware that, again, that could be any of us. But we all have a story inside, and we would very much like to hear yours. Feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. If you've gone through a hardship and you've figured out a way to get through it and survive it, if you have had a disability and you've learned ways to cope and be independent and all of that, we would very much like to hear from you and be able to have you on the show as a guest, just like Andrea. And remember that you want to listen to today's show again if you need more inspiration, or if we said something today where, gosh, I wish I could hear that again. Go to livingfullout.com or go to Alexa, the app stores, or the 24-hour radio station. It's there for you to listen on the go. So when we come back, though, we're going to be taking your calls. Again, it's about figuring out where in your life do you need strength. Are you in conflict with somebody? Do you feel just like your life is passing you by? Or have you dealt recently with abuse or anything traumatic? This is the time to call in. We want to make sure that you are supported so that you can get out there and live your life full out and not be burdened by that dark cloud of pain, stress, or fear. So again, today it's all about living full out by finding strength. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us, and we'll be coming right back taking your calls. We'll be back.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text.
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. So many comments on my comment. Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Mom, what? Huh? What'd you say?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Thanks for asking, but I'd rather not send you nude pictures. I'm camera shy. I already said no. It's against my religion. I'm giving my dog a bath. You can have pictures of that. Pressure gives me hives. Under my clothes, I'm a robot. Hold on, let me ask my mom. Sorry, my webcam is broken. I'm worried they'll get passed around school. Unfortunately, I just had my clothes surgically attached to my body. If they got out, I might never be president. I'm already naked, under my clothes. Not even if you were all three Jonas Brothers. I have a rash. I have nudophobia. I have lizard skin. The more you ask, the less I want to. You're not the boss of me. Nudity makes me vomit. I'm a vampire, so I don't show up in pictures anyways. Your badgering has really killed the mood.
When someone is pressuring you to do something you don't want to, how many ways can you say no before they get the message? Let us know at that'snotcool.com. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
What? What about our plan to win the lottery and start living? You know, travel the world on matching yachts, wear enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacation on the French Riviera, and then buy it.
You know we're never going to win the lottery, right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When it comes to finding strength and getting through a hard time, you want to first of all look within yourself. Figure out, where do you need support? What changes might you need to make? And then from there, you can ask for what you need. Don't feel like you're a burden. You're giving someone else the ability to serve you, help you through a hard time. That's what it means to live full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about finding strength when we need to make a decision, when we're dealing with stress, or just a challenging time in our life. And strength is going to come from within, but sometimes it is the support of others. So I really appreciate all those that call into the show because, we're here to help you. We want to motivate you and give you any resources or suggestions to help move you from the stressful time to a happier one. So, in fact, we're getting word from a producer now that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi there. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you?
Hey, I'm currently going through in the midst of a career change, and I feel like I've been facing some challenges in doing so. Have I been standing in my own way of success?
Well, let me ask you, first of all, what would you like to do for your career?
I'd like to become a law enforcement officer.
Okay, sounds fun. I enjoy watching Cops and SVU and all those. I get it. Sounds like fun. Now, the thing is what is it about becoming a part of the law enforcement community? What is it about that would excite you, that would make you feel purposeful?
Well, right now I kind of have a desk job, and the thing that attracted me to the law enforcement field is that it's a different job day to day. It's not doing the same thing. It's always something different.
Complete opposite of your world now, right? And
yeah,
how do
exactly.
How do you feel like you're getting in your way? What is one thing that you think that you're doing that's kind of sabotaging your goal?
I'm feeling like that I'm constantly doubting myself and my ability to continue on in my progress that I'm making. Every step of the way kind of feels like self-doubt.
And do you think that doubt comes from other people not supporting that you want to go into law enforcement?
No.
Or do you think, no?
Not
Where do you think the doubt comes from?
It's my own. My own self-confidence, I would say.
Okay. Well, I want you to fast forward down the line, okay? And let's picture you in law enforcement, okay? Let's picture you day to day. It's a different adventure. You're helping people. You're making a difference. You're fighting crime. You know that you're protecting people. You're keeping them safe. How would that feel?
That'd feel great.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that when you look at other people who are in law enforcement, if you've ever met a cop or maybe you took some classes, do you think those people are better than you?
No, I feel like we're equals.
Mm-hmm. Right? And I give it to firefighters, law enforcement, even people in the medical community, hospitals, because it's a job where you're giving yourself over. You're taking a bullet for another person. You're working long hours to get someone through that hard time. And you know what? That is who you are. You got the heart. Mm-hmm. You got the passion. And what you just need is the training. So it might mean that you go on LinkedIn and find a local law enforcement professional in your area. Maybe you shadow them for the day. Or call your local law enforcement and say, hey, can I do a ride-along? They still do those, right? I would allow yourself to get a little bit more absorbed in that community because you got the heart, you got the passion. You just need the belief in you and yourself will come just with a little bit more training. I have no doubt. Can you do that?
I can do that.
You can do that. You will do that. And I will sleep better tonight knowing that you're out there protecting the streets. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you for calling in. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. And for everybody listening today, it has all been about finding strength. But how do we do that? Sometimes we have to turn to other people and say, how did you get to where you are? I want to be there too. Or, you know what, can you help me? I got a question. I have a need. And sometimes it's just being still and looking within yourself and seeing where you need to grow, where you need to make changes. But the good thing is anything is possible. So we want to thank you today for listening to the show. And we really believe that you can find strength in your life. You just have to go out there, live full out, go after your dreams and goals in a big way. Anytime a fear or an anxiety or a stress creeps in, you want to cast that away and remember to tell those thoughts in your mind that they do not have a place there, that they don't serve you. Also, I want to make sure that if you are looking to get balance in your life, go to livingfullout.com. Make sure you download that 80 tips to bring balance into your life. That's free for you there. Also, if you want to hear today's show again, remember all of our shows are live on our radio station. You can go to livingfullout.com to tune in there, or go to your app stores and just look for Living Full Out Radio. Most of all, here's to you living your life full out and just dreaming big and going for it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.